Hello, everyone, and welcome to FxWB New Beginnings podcast with Michelle. And the year is still cold. I don't know if you catch that, at least in my neck of the woods. It's still cold, but you know what? We're hoping that as soon as it breaks, that we can see the new growth, the new breathe new air, and have a fun time in the springtime. And talking about spring, FxWB New Beginnings podcast here with Michelle. We are going outside. You know, we love to do things for our communities and we love to be outside. Michelle loves to be outside. And we want to be able to do things that can help others live better. Functional well-being, that's our mantra. The whole you becoming the well you. And we want you to live better. So thank you for always joining us here on FxWB New Beginnings podcast as we share lots of information on various different things to help us with our lifestyle and our whole lifestyle to that. In particular, today I am reminding you guys that we are getting closer to the FxWB Summit. Our whole you summit, wellness summit, coming up on April 18th. We are going to be together in person on April 18th. Tickets are out. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. If you can scan that QR code, you can get your tickets. It's only $50. And why I say only, because there are so many different things that you are going to do on that day with us. We're starting from 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have activities for our kids, seniors, and for women over 35. We want you there because we want you to learn as much information as possible from what can I do for my senior that is aging and they might need transport and they don't have transport or they can't drive and I'm not around to get them, versus kids learning to do different activities to help them enjoy their lifestyle and have a healthier mental health. 2 mini workshops with mental health therapists, functional medicine practitioner, a pharmacist, a chiropractic doctor, as well as a personal trainer and functional nutrition coach. We are all coming together on this day to share information, teach information, learn from you information that we can all use to help us live better. So the whole you can become the well you. So come on board, get your tickets. Now it's on Eventbrite. Look for the FxWB Whole You Wellness Summit, 18th of April, 2026. We look forward to having you there. And FxWB podcast, what we are doing is coming together and letting you learn from our various providers what they're going to have on that day. We would love for you to be there so that you can learn things that can help you in the long run, whether it's functional movement activity versus functional nutritional activity and mindset building. We coming together as a community. This is what we're going to do. We are going to help our whole life be better from the inside out. And today we have another mental health therapist on board with us. She's going to share a little bit about herself and she's going to share what her major passions, because she has lots of different passions. Believe you me, she has a lot of different things she's passionate about. But for this summit, we're going to look at one specific area and hone in and learn some more about this area that she specifies in, and see what we're going to learn at the summit. So this is kind of like a prelude to what you're going to get at the workshop. So thank you so much for listening in at FxWB New Beginnings podcast. Do like and subscribe our channel on YouTube. We just want you to come on board, listen, and get all the preview information so that when you get to the summit, you can hit the ground running because you know what you're going to do, where you're going, what you're going to take part in, and how much things you can get to learn and use for your life to come. So thank you again. And at this time, I'm going to invite my friend to come on board. Hello, hello, hello.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. So this is Miss Savannah Johnson, and we are grateful for her to being a part of the FxWB community because she's been with us last year. She came on
Yes.
board with an invite to become a panelist at the FxWB Mental Health Summit last year fall, and we were so happy to have her on board. The information shared, everybody gleaned so much from it. We wanted to have her on board again. And we want her to be able to share more information with us, more different strategies, different activities one can do to help with their mental health and in general, physical health, because they are all connected. Our mental health is connected to our emotional health, is also connected
That's
to our
right.
physical health. Yep.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
Miss Johnson, thank you so much for coming on board. For those who don't know you, I want you to give us a little short bio of yourself.
Well, my name is Savannah Johnson. I am a conflict zone humanitarian, international educator, and currently I am a behavioral therapist specializing in the treatment of children on the autism spectrum.
Wow.
Um, Currently, just working throughout the community, bringing forth the benefits of culture
Mhm.
and cultural regulation, and how a culture that benefits, protects, and heals people is what we're looking forward to developing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that because there are a lot of words that kind of popped out at me. The one of the major words is culture. Not everybody
Mhm.
understands culture. So, what would you define culture to be?
Culture is an all encompassing way that a group of people think that should be healthy, benefit of them as a people. Culture is people's art, how people spend money, what they think, what kind of institutions they support. Culture is a mindset that brings everything together.
Yes.
That's
And and culture to me, I'm hearing what you may value.
Absolutely. Culture is definitely things that people value, but we also need to take culture from being something that we merely celebrate or observe into something that we practice. Culture is a living ecosystem that wraps around people and protects them.
Yes, I totally understand that because I'm from a different culture. And when people
Mhm.
say you do things like that, I'm like, yes, because this is my culture. I can't get rid of my culture
Mm,
just like that.
mm-mm.
And when we talk about
No.
culture in the context of people and their relationships, how does that affect them in terms of my culture versus your culture? And how we relate to
Okay.
each other, how does that when you have to work with people, how does that influence your decision making to help people based on their culture?
Uh, Okay, well, first of all, we have to discuss culture relative to being an African American.
Okay.
A lot, as we all know, historically, it's been recorded how much intentional damage was done to our people in order to fracture our culture, which was the connectivity that we had between each other. So that when we saw ourselves, we saw ourselves in our people as well. A lot was done to fracture that, and we can see the ramifications of that right now in that we see differences, but we're still all one people.
Yes.
So I like to explain culture in the form of like an umbrella. Culture covers the spectrum of blackness and Africanness. We do not have to be the same. We do not have to worship the same. We don't have to have the same sexual orientations. However, we can still be of one culture because we have an understanding that brings us together and how we connect and move forward and build. My specialty is dealing with children on the autism spectrum, and that's very important relative to culture because of different ways that we speak to our children, different ways that we guide our children, and that leads to different types of initiations and programmings that we would have relative to being able to um, discern different things about children who are on the spectrum. Certain expectations that we might have may be different or reflected differently just due to certain cultural differences. When you're dealing with children on the spectrum as a diagnosis, all of those things have to be taken into consideration behaviorally. I deal with all children. I deal
Okay.
with all children, not just African American
Okay.
children. However, because I do deal with all children and love all children, there are different ways that you have to approach children behaviorally relative to certain cultural understandings so that your programming and things can be effective, more
Right.
effective.
And that is important to note because for you to be able to deal with a culture, you have to understand other cultures and
Mhm.
not
Understand and
being,
respect.
yes, understand and respect. And it goes,
Mhm.
and this is like so many different cultures in terms of, for example, my family culture, as in my
Mhm.
husband, kids, and myself culture values may be different to my brother's family culture
Mhm.
values.
Mhm. Mhm.
But my brother and I grew up in the same house, and we have certain
Okay.
values that, or core values that are similar. So even that
That's right.
dynamic there changes how you deal with a kid
Yes.
in any way. If you have a kid with autism or any mental health issue, honestly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. It
Wow.
does. It always comes into play. And when you want to have effective treatment, you absolutely have to take that into consideration in the application of your therapy. What are the ways that they eat? What do certain expressions mean relative to them and their household and their culture? How do you pair or endear that particular child? Certain things are very, very allowed in certain cultures and
Yes.
they're prohibited in others. You have to be able to navigate that well when you're doing therapy, especially with children.
Yes. If you could share with me, other than kids with
Mhm.
autism, do you help other people under mental health therapy?
Actually, I'm only certified to deal with children who are on the autism spectrum professionally. Now, when it comes to actually lifestyles and giving wisdom and advice that's structured on my experiences, absolutely, I do. I move throughout the community, specifically in the development of an ecosystem, which we will establish as a culture that is healthy, beneficial, and protective of the people that are within that ecosystem. And that is currently what I am and some others, my partners, are developing right now in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Great. So it's not it's important to note that one may have a passion and a specific area that they work in, but you can still use that gift in other ways to help others in the community.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. Thank
Absolutely. And we should.
you.
And we should.
Yes. What would you like to share, like finally like to
Mhm.
share with regards to autism and therapy or mental health therapy before we get to the summit that's coming up on April 18th? What would be
Mhm.
something that you want to share that we are going to talk about in the workshop session? Now, we don't have a lot of time during the workshop session because we want to get everybody in. We want to get all our professionals in to talk about the things that we have dear and near to our hearts that will help others. So this is why we do this podcast, because we want you to understand a
Mhm.
little bit more about what we're going to share in a synopsis in the workshop. So tell me, what might be one of the
Mhm.
areas that you might touch on when you speak about autism and mental health therapy?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. One major area when it comes to autism is early intervention. If you have any concerns about developmental issues with your child, please take them in and ask your doctor what he or she thinks and see if, they would like to test. And if so, allow them to test to see if, to assess
Mm-hmm.
where your child may or may not be. Early intervention has proven to be incredibly effective
Yeah.
in the field of autism therapy. They start very young. I've had patients that were 2 years old up to 17 years old.
Mm.
So autism therapy is very effectively, but early intervention is definitely something that I would back.
What would be something that you can do to remove that myth or that stigma that it's bad to go to a mental health therapist, especially for a kid?
I think in this day and time, so much has been done and said across the board online. A lot of people, especially in the African American community, thankfully are opening up to more avenues for counsel and through therapy. Being able to talk one on one with a professional in order to sort some things out and to get a better understanding of our place in our own minds and gaining that kind of comfort. And therefore, that adjusts and affects our place in society and culture. Again, early intervention, even when it comes to mental health therapy, is absolutely necessary in order to be able to get a good what possibly needs to be done and the modalities to be able to do that effectively. So, yeah, I definitely think that early intervention across the board is necessary, especially when it comes to African Americans, because we, no doubt, have existed in and our ancestry has existed in very traumatic experiences. We still do exist in a very traumatic experience today. And I'm glad that mental health therapy is becoming far more normalized. I would like to be able to see it be more affordable for people who really are seeking treatment, and we're working on that.
Yeah, great. I thank you so much for sharing this, because a lot of people, we still have a lot of people that think in general I shouldn't go to a mental health therapist. And then that cost factor is a huge part in preventing people
Mm-hmm.
to go to a mental health therapist. And the more
Mm-hmm.
we talk about it and get others on board, I think it's going to be very helpful to see that more people will go to a mental health therapist to seek the help that they
Yes.
need. So thank you so
Yes.
much, so much. I can't wait to see you at the summit. Guys, we don't want you all to miss anything out, from
No.
the kids' time to the senior activities to the workshops. And we're doing demos. We want everybody there. We want everybody to come in this space to learn and share, that so that we can all help each other live better and make the whole you the well
That's
you.
right.
Whether you learn something about the food, whether you learn something about mental health therapy that you didn't even think was your problem or issue, and it opened up some, thinking about what's going on with you as an individual, or in your family, in your home, or even you currently, I know I have some seniors taking care of seniors and they need the help, whether it is for transport, for example. Come and get in the space on April
Yes.
18th from 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. We want you there. The tickets are only $50 because we want you in the space. And we're going to be giving out some tickets too as we get closer. We're going to be sharing. Some people might win some tickets. We just want people to come in the space and learn from each other, because you have something to teach me and I have something to teach you, so that we could all learn from each other and help
Yes.
each other regardless, yes, of what's going on. Come into this space, come enjoy a time together, and come in and listen in to Savannah and all the other providers that we have on board. Come on in, listen up, come to move. So make sure you're wearing really good good clothes and good shoes, because you're coming
Yes.
to move too.
Yes. You got to be dressed to come to the summit for Michelle, because you
Yep.
gonna move around.
Yes, you're gonna move. We really do enjoy when we have a lot of people on board and just coming and soaking up the energy and the information that you will get on this day. So thank you so much, Savannah, for coming on board with me now and sharing so much information. Even though it was short, it was a lot of information to digest. We want you there so you can get more strategies to help. So come on board, meet Savannah, meet myself, meet all the other providers. Let's have a time together, a good time together.
And we will.
Has been FxWB. Yes, we definitely will. We will have a good time together. This has been FxWB New Beginnings Podcast with Michelle. As I said before, you can always like and subscribe to the channel, because here you can find everything from information about the summit to exercise activities that I do, or even food. Like, come on board, join us, and get into the FxWB community. We would love to have you. This has been our podcast for today with Michelle, and today, Savannah. Bye for now, guys.